Right now, in labs all over the world, there are billions of cells being used to develop cancer treatments, vaccines, and life-saving medications. Those cells belong to a Black woman named Henrietta Lacks. She never agreed to give them. Her family never received a single dollar. And for 25 years, nobody even told them. This is the story of one of the most important people in the history of modern medicine. A woman whose cells have contributed to more scientific breakthroughs than almost any human being who ever lived. And yet, most people have never heard her name. Today, we're talking about Henrietta Lacks and the billion-dollar theft that happened without her knowledge, without her consent, and without a single word of thanks to her family for over 2 decades. Henrietta Lacks was born on August 1, 1920, in Roanoke, Virginia, the daughter of tobacco farmers. After her mother died, she was raised by her grandfather in a small cabin in Clover, Virginia. She married at 14, had 5 children, and eventually the family moved to Baltimore, Maryland. Part of the Great Migration of Black families leaving the South looking for something better. By 1951, Henrietta was 30 years old. She was a wife, a mother of 5, and she did not know it yet. But she was dying. She had been experiencing unusual bleeding and went to Johns Hopkins Hospital, one of the only hospitals in Baltimore that even treated Black patients at the time. The doctors discovered she had aggressive cervical cancer. What happened next would change the course of human history. During her treatment in January 1951, a doctor named George Gay took a sample of Henrietta's tumor cells. Without asking her, without telling her, without her knowledge or consent. This was not uncommon at the time, especially with Black patients. The assumption was that doctors owned whatever they took from your body. You didn't get a say. But Henrietta's cells were unlike anything science had ever seen. Every other human cell sample that scientists had tried to grow in a lab had died within days. Henrietta's cells didn't just survive, they thrived. They doubled every 20 to 24 hours. They were virtually indestructible. Dr. Gay named them HeLa cells, the first 2 letters of her first and last name. And within weeks, he was mailing them to labs around the world. Henrietta Lacks died on October 4, 1951, 8 months after her diagnosis. She was 31 years old. She was buried in an unmarked grave in Clover, Virginia. Her cells lived on. HeLa cells became the backbone of modern medicine. They were used to develop the polio vaccine in the 1950s, the vaccine that ended one of the most feared diseases in American history. They've been used in cancer research, AIDS research, genetics, fertility treatments, space research. Scientists even sent HeLa cells to space to study how they behaved in zero gravity. When COVID-19 hit and the world needed a vaccine fast, scientists used HeLa cells. Here are the numbers. Over 11,000 patents involve HeLa cells. More than 110,000 scientific papers have been published using them. The global market built on HeLa cells is estimated at over $17 billion. And Henrietta's family? They found out her cells even existed in the 1970s, more than 20 years after her death. A scientist called her son out of the blue and told him his mother's cells were still alive, being used in labs around the world. They had no idea, no compensation, no royalties, no ownership. Some of her children couldn't even afford health insurance, while corporations were selling their mother's cells for profit. The full story of Henrietta Lacks was hidden from the public until 2010, when journalist Rebecca Skloot published The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. The book spent more than 2 years on the New York Times bestseller list. It finally put her name where it belonged. In 2021, her family filed a lawsuit against Thermo Fisher Scientific, one of the largest biomedical companies in the world, for continuing to profit from HeLa cells without consent or compensation. The lawsuit was dismissed in 2022. The court ruled the family had no legal claim to the cells taken from their mother without her knowledge. Let that sink in. A company can legally profit from cells taken from a Black woman without her consent, and her family has no legal right to any of it. Henrietta Lacks gave modern medicine one of its most powerful tools. She gave it without being asked, without being thanked, without any acknowledgement for decades. Henrietta Lacks deserved better. Her family deserved better. And this story deserved to be told a long time ago. If this is the kind of history you want to know, the real history, the parts that get left out, subscribe to the Black Impact Project. New videos every week. And if you want to go deeper, read The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot, one of the most important books written in the last 20 years. I'll see you in the next one.